Thank you very much, John. Today we have another wonderful episode on the Languages Pedagogy Podcast with you here. I was actually really looking
Yeah,
forward to have you in the show because I've had a couple of followers who've been actually asking me about what you do, especially when
who
I
is that
just
crazy man, John
retweet.
Freeman?
Yeah, exactly. That person just saw my repost and she was like, "Okay, who's he? Sounds pretty interesting." So
Okay,
here we are. Here we are with John. Thank you very much again for being here. I would like you
pleasure,
to start
pleasure.
by introducing yourself. Let us know who you are, what you do.
I'm John Freeman. I founded Eternal English in 2024, August 2024, originally to
Mm.
provide one-to-one English language coaching to students wanting to improve their language abilities. I've since specialized in, I still do that, but what I do even more strongly is once they know the language, I then help them use it in a better way. So I help with communication. So
Mm.
nowadays I call myself an English language and communication coach.
That
So I
sounds
guess I guess with a right hand and a left hand, I teach the language, but then I help them communicate better and deal with their nerves.
that sounds great. I mean, that's exactly what we need. And that's actually the experience that most of us English teachers or languages teachers need. How to actually just pass that. I mean, how to
Hmm.
cultivate that sense of not feeling that anxious or something related to language, not feeling that afraid or fear
Yeah.
to speak up, because anyway, language is about speaking. It's not about
So
just
my
learning.
background before I became an English teacher, my background was hypnotherapy and stress busting. So it's almost this thing has just kind of evolved all by itself with all my, I guess, expertise coming now to helping people speak. Clarity, precision.
That's perfect. I think that's a really good one to help you to help others because in the end, as teachers, that's what we need.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're here for, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's what we need. We need people like that to keep helping, giving others hand, and regardless of the color of beliefs or whatever. I mean, we're teachers,
Absolutely.
and we got no problem with
Absolutely.
that. Exactly. So today, I would like to start by telling you what is the topic today, because the topic today, I was actually thinking about it, and I came like, it's not your English, it's your nerves.
Mm.
Simple.
Love nerves. Love nerves.
So, John, let's start with the uncomfortable truth here. Why do so many
Okay.
learners who know English well, still freeze when it's time to speak?
It's
To your
funny, isn't it?
experience.
I was thinking about this morning. Haven't we all, as teachers, had people in our class, and I had one literally just last week, who has the ability, has the knowledge, but doesn't speak because the nerves just take over completely and overcome them. And you know they can do it, but they don't do it. And that's when the nerves win. And I think people like that, and it's not even language, is it? It's in every area of our lives. People are waiting for the confidence before they start doing things. And they've got it completely backwards because the confidence comes from doing. The nerves will go once you know how to communicate and how to communicate well, when you trust yourself to be able to do that. So we all remember when the first time we rode a bike without
Mhm.
stabilizers on, you know, and we weren't confident, but we saw where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do, but we had a grown up holding that saddle, didn't we? Running
Exactly.
along beside us, giving us that support, holding us up until we were fast enough to be able to do that ourselves. And I think that's my job. That's how I see my job. I'm that support. I'm holding the saddle and I'm running along beside you until you can feel like you can do that yourself. It's um it's something. that can be overcome once you learn the strategies and the techniques that you can use in those situations where you need to speak up.
Exactly.
And once you have them, you start practicing. So you were talking about the uncomfortable truth. The uncomfortable truth is you've got to start speaking. And whether
Yeah,
you're
long story
someone,
short.
I had these two different girls in my class last week, and one of them I taught for a whole week, and we were finally starting to write down some sentences, and it was only then I realized she was head and shoulders above everyone else in the class with her formulation of her grammar, her sentences, but she wouldn't speak to me. And I
Wow.
had another girl who was very, very low level, could hardly say a word, walked across a vast space to come and stand beside me just before they went home and said, "Me, you, photo." And she couldn't even speak to me, but she was brave enough to come and ask for that photograph with me before she went home. We've got to be able to speak.
That
You've
that's the
got to
that's the
start
word.
doing it.
Exactly. Brave. Bravery.
We've got to start,
Yeah,
and when we do, then the confidence starts to come. Yeah, there
exactly.
was time. I did a video, present yourself to a video webinar yesterday,
Hmm.
and I was saying, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I hated getting in front of the video camera. And now, I'm doing podcasts. I've got my own podcast. I'm doing webinars. I'm doing promotional videos. I'm always in front of the camera. And now I do it. I don't even think about it. And that's the habit, isn't it? And the
Yeah,
nerves go when we get used to doing something all the time. But
exactly.
we've got to take the first step, isn't it? All the time.
Yeah, first step, it's sometimes the most difficult one sometimes, right? We don't
Oh,
actually feel like that.
absolutely. That's the big step.
Yeah.
Once you do the first step, everything else gets easy. And I think, that's why people like you and I, to have the right person in your corner, running beside you, holding that saddle, I think is the most important thing ever.
You said it loud and clear.
With
Exactly.
with with the right support, any of us can achieve anything we want to. Just
I
to
like
have
that.
that one person whispering in our ear saying, "You can do that.
I'm gonna
Come
have
on,
to
I'll
quote
do
this one. We're gonna have to make a really good LinkedIn post about what you just said.
it."
That it's that is what it's all about, like helping others. Come on.
Absolutely. My core values are
Exactly.
are connection, partnership, and support.
Mhm.
And that drives everything I do. And the main reason for the support is I've spent so much of my life trying to achieve something without any support. And I can promise you it's almost impossible to
Yeah,
achieve anything until you've got that good support.
exactly.
It's just everything. You can achieve almost nothing without it. You can achieve anything with it.
Exactly. And you said that word, connection. I feel
Yeah.
so happy actually to hear it because throughout my podcast career, I've been actually just having these wonderful talks with different background teachers and all that. And we all actually come to this. This is our common ground, connection. If there's no connection, it's gonna be really hard. I
It's
mean,
it, it's hard. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And all my magical moments in the classroom, in my one-to-one sessions, when I make that connection with someone. And then you have that huge empathy and you instinctively know exactly what they need when they need it. And lessons just fly by. They don't feel
mhm,
like lessons. It's just two people or a room full of people having fun. And
exactly.
that's why when I started Eternal English, it was for one-to-one coaching because I wanted that. When I make that connection in a classroom, it's harder for me to give that person what they need because I've got everyone else. And that for me, that's heartbreaking. I can't do that. That's really hard. So to
Yes,
have just one person right in front of me that I can zero in on and I call it 100% responsiveness. So if they need something, they get it right then, right there.
exactly. I like that. I couldn't agree more. And moving on a little bit to your experience there, because for sure you have these type of students. Now that we're just breaking the ice with these Amazing intro. Let's talk about a little bit about your experiences because for sure you got many stories there. But what about these type of students now? Like, for example, there's a gap, right? Between what learners can actually do in their head and what they can do out loud. Have
Mm.
you had those type of students like they say like, "Oh
Absolutely,
yes,
yeah.
I know how to say it, but when I want to say it,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
freeze."
And then it just goes, doesn't it? It's speaking under pressure, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's when the spotlight hits you
Yeah,
and it's high pressure and suddenly it becomes really important. And then the nerves take over and it all goes to pot. Because
and
if you think that the easiest way to think of this is I used to do this with any problem, but let's keep it to this language thing. When the nerves take over, that stress. So if we recognize that it's stress, then that gives us something to work on, and we work on the stress. And if you work on the stress, and then the stress goes, and then you're able to think straight. The first thing we lose when we get stressed is our ability to think straight.
mhm.
Everything goes to pot. So if we can learn how to minimize our stress levels and practice, it always comes down to practice in those high pressure moments,
So what we're
then
seeing
we
here
can
is
overcome that.
exactly. So what we're seeing here is that your job there is it goes actually beyond to just the simple language.
It's
I think it goes
multifaceted,
actually
isn't
to a
it?
therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there comes like a little bit of
No,
a therapy
I wouldn't
or
call it therapy, but it is coaching and teaching techniques to enable a person to stay calm under pressure.
yeah,
And again, it's just learning how to do it, practice doing it, and then you can do it when it matters.
exactly. So
And then your mind is clear, you can access that knowledge you have inside you.
mm,
And also I think that, you have that big panic of people when they get under pressure. I've got to come up with an answer now. I go, oh! And they're so busy trying to get something out that they end up not getting anything out that's worth it. So much of what I teach is slow down. Don't be afraid of the pause. Allow yourself time to think. Those words we can use. That's a good question. Give me a minute to think this, to assert ourselves.
exactly.
What the most common thing I teach people the first time I meet them is the most, especially the low levels. If you can learn to say to me and be brave enough to say, I don't understand, that will accelerate your learning like nothing else you ever do. Because to say to someone, I don't understand, can you say that again? Can you speak slowly? That gives you a confidence inside that grows into more confidence in other areas. It also gets the other person to slow down and make allowances for you. So they are kinder to you. And it creates that positive cycle. Just being brave enough to say, I don't understand. Hugely powerful thing for a learner to do,
That's a huge leap. I
isn't it?
just once,
You,
yeah,
you, and the
learning.
difference when you see that in a classroom, especially when you get teenage kids doing it, 15, 16 years old, and that I don't understand. And it might take them 2 or 3 days before they're brave enough to say that. But there's
Yeah,
nothing so confidence destroying as sitting in a room, not understanding the teacher and staring at them without telling them that you don't understand them. And the worst of that is the teacher can't help you if you don't say you need help.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You've got, how many times do we say, are you okay? Do you need help? Yeah, yeah, fine. I'm fine. And we know they're not. We
yeah.
can see it because we have eyes, we have empathy, because we do this for a living. And if they say they don't need help, we can't help them. They can't progress. You've got to, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't
Yeah,
understand you.
exactly.
Please explain that again. Because what teacher doesn't like explaining it again? We love the favorite, I always say the favorite word in my classroom is John. John, John, John. I have a question, I have a question, I have a question. Don't we love questions? that just shows somebody wants to learn. Hi, my name's John Freeman. I'm an English language and communication coach. I support non-native speakers, mainly in the UK, with their communication and language needs. I'm the creator of Speak for Success, a 12-week one-to-one coaching program guaranteed to make anybody comfortable in any situation by teaching them techniques and strategies that they can use in high-pressure situations. So instead of when the spotlight hits you and the nerves kick in, you could be confident and speak with clarity and precision. You can find out more about me by going to eternalenglish.co.uk.
Yeah, well, you said it. If we actually don't learn how to question, it's impossible to learn. I mean, if we need to actually stand up and say, you know what, I don't know this. How can I do it? As a learner myself, learning Chinese is super difficult.
Yeah,
And
I
going
bet.
under the stress of trying to come out with the tone, the right tone, because Chinese is a tonal language. So if you go too high, it has
Yeah.
a different meaning. If you go too low,
Yeah, yeah.
total different
Oh,
meaning. It's really stressing, and I totally understand that. But on the other hand, if I don't actually dare to ask, what am I going to be learning then?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
the teacher will assume that I know everything already.
Yeah. And then they're going to move on and you're
Yeah,
still in the same place and you haven't moved on
yeah,
with them.
exactly. So
And as
and
teachers, we want to pull people along with us, don't we?
and that's one of the things that actually I get a little bit worried about it because most of the students who actually don't dare to talk, there's gonna be a point in time where they're gonna start feeling like the language is a threat to them. So because it's
Yeah.
a threat, I won't be able to learn it.
Yeah.
And since it's a
Yeah.
threat, we just move on to a different direction. How do you treat
Yeah.
people like that then?
You know what? I think the only thing, first of all, it has to come from them. They need to want to do it. You can't force them to do it. But the other thing, they've got one-to-one. They've got to have one-to-one so that they can have that gentleness, that kindness, that 100% responsiveness, exactly what they need in the moment. And I find nervous people do really, really well when they get all the attention. And that, they don't stay nervous very long.
Mm,
One-to-one is king as far as I'm concerned. When I
yeah,
started Eternal English, I went down the one-to-one route because I couldn't compete with schools. But I very, very soon just realized this is what I was born to do. I love one-to-one. Everything I do is one-to-one. I love it because the results are incredible.
yeah,
And the relationship, the connection, the partnership, the support, all of that is just top notch with one-to-one. Yes, of course, it's more expensive, but also it balances out because you achieve everything so much quicker anyway,
true.
than group classes.
And I apply the same the same principle. I love one-on-one classes, not because it's because a lot of people actually might believe, oh, of course, you like one-on-one because it's more profitable for you. It's good for your pocket.
Yeah,
But it isn't actually about that. You know, if we actually see it from a perspective of a person who really loves what he or she does, I mean, we're gonna find that a one-on-one lesson will bring you more result in a shorter
yeah,
time sometimes. In a very
absolutely,
short time.
absolutely,
What you
absolutely.
couldn't do in a class, like with 12 kids, 15 kids, 30 adults in one class, in a year, you can actually complete it in 1 month.
Absolutely. And
So
what needs to partner that is the teacher learner partnership is something I talk about a hell of a lot. And I think I mentioned this to you the other day. They need to play their part. It can't be just turning up for your session, have the teacher tell you a load of stuff. You've got to wait. You've got to go away. You've got to do that homework. You've got to do your research. You've got to keep your new vocabulary book and do the exercises that cement that new vocabulary in your head. You have a part to play. And I think you should be doing at least as much homework as many hours as you have in the classroom as well. And if you do that, you're going to get an amazing result
Yeah,
really fast.
definitely.
Because
And
that's when the homework is where the real work gets done.
true. And this is actually one of the things that happens in the classroom in the classroom, but most people don't want to see it. But it's not only about being in a class and not be able to understand, but also is the other psychological effect of having mistakes. Not because of
Mm.
you, but you feel like immediately like, oh, I
Oh,
made a mistake. I'm super bad. Oh no, it's better I'll
yeah,
stay quiet
yeah.
because people will start laughing at me and no, 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 no. I cannot talk. No, that's it. I will say I understood and
My classroom or my one-to-one sessions, they are a safe space for people to make mistakes. And
yes,
if you make a mistake, you will be laughed at by all of us, but I expect the same for when I make a mistake as well. And it's a safe place where it is safe. You can make mistakes and we all make mistakes. And I think that's really important to to feel like it's okay because everybody's making mistakes
yeah,
all the
that,
time. And one of the things I talk about with this communication thing, people worrying about making mistakes. God, I make mistakes all the time when I'm speaking. We all do, don't we? We fumble and we bumble over our words. We get overexcited and we say the wrong words. My wife famously uses the wrong vocabulary all the time. She's English, mind. She's got no excuse for it. But she'll say things like flamingo instead of flamenco.
oh,
And she does that all the time. And it's really, really funny. And she teaches and she trains people in her business. And it's just her. It's that's who you are, isn't it? That's authenticity. And I think when you're learning a language and you're struggling in that way, it becomes so overwhelming for you. I've got to be perfect. I've got to be perfect. And you're allowed to make
true.
mistakes. If you get your point across, you've done the job, haven't you?
And that's the point. I mean, let's make those free spaces about from judging because that's the point,
Mm,
judge. And they get very
yeah,
like the and interestingly enough, even adults get that type of feeling sometimes, right? They and I think sometimes
yeah,
they
yeah,
even have even harder, stronger than teenagers or young adults.
yeah, yeah. Especially, if you're in the work environment and you're trying to make an impression, you're trying to grow up the career ladder, and you're speaking a different language than your own language. It's the pressure is huge,
Yeah,
and that's where you just need somebody in your corner again, isn't it? That support to hold your
exactly.
hand, to hold your saddle,
Yeah,
and to
it
say
is
that's okay, you can do that.
definitely, and that's what it's all about. I mean, having someone who can lead us into success. Let's say it like that, because strong word because
Mm,
uh, adults actually just travel. They start migrating to these immigration things and all that, going to this country, that country for any reason, mostly for work. So they actually go to this place and they don't know the language. It's really hard.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's what you do actually in the UK, helping foreigners in this case. Uh,
absolutely non-native speakers.
Getting ready because no native speakers actually just to feel more confident and try to make a statement at least and be
Yeah,
productive in their second language because
yeah,
even though their second language is it's actually something good to learn languages because it helps your brain as well to create new neural paths and all that, but it all comes with something, like pressure and
yeah.
fear, anxiety, and even sometimes that can actually cause depression. I don't know if you've had people actually getting into depression because of this.
No, not yet. I'm sure. I'm sure it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, because I've actually seen some students in the same way. Like they get like to a point that no, they feel like no, this is not for me. That's it. I was
Really?
having actually another teacher who's doing exactly the same job like you're doing, but in Australia, as I was telling you.
Uh-huh, yeah.
And she's got the same students. And sometimes she got these students like they get to a point of stress that that's it. They say, no, that's it. This is all. I mean, I'm out. I'll
I'm
just go
done.
back to my
Yeah.
home country and that's it. Bye bye.
Wow.
So that type of pressure, that's kind of a
You saying
depression
that?
there.
I've got a student. Um, he's in England. He's working. Been here about a year now. I helped him get his UK work visa. When he interviewed for the job, he had to use a translator because his English was so low. We got him up to a band four for his work visa, and I continue working with him now. And he turned up to his lesson the other day, and somebody had been so horrible to him at work that he was seriously thinking about quitting and going home to Spain again.
Wow.
It
Wow.
can it can be such a little thing that actually it becomes so big and meaningful to a person. And I really hope I'll be speaking to him tonight. I really hope he's got the support, proper support from his employer to deal with
Yeah.
this man who was aggressive with him.
That's
Because
that's the other side.
it's just it everything when you're dealing with a foreign language every day
Hmm.
is difficult and stressful. So you only need one little thing like that to push you over the edge. And
True.
he's starting to think, I might as well go home.
This is not for me. That's it. First,
Yeah,
language, and second, maybe I don't know how to call it, like some sort of like a misbehavior from people
yeah.
around. Maybe some of them racist or some of them like xenophobia or something like it. But yeah, all of it, it's part of it.